Welcome everybody to Thursday, June 26th, meeting of New York City Historical Architectural Review Board. Call to order. Skian. Present. Zumbrum.
Present.
Schermeyer.
Here.
McLean Gross.
Here.
Buffington.
Here.
Gifford.
Present.
And O'Brien is not here. Did everybody have time to review the minutes from the last meeting? If so, can somebody make a motion?
I do.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. We have no unfinished business. First case tonight, 48 North Beaver Street.
Hey Blake, how are you?
I remember approving what you want to get rid of.
Yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I was here with a very similar project. Travis Kepler with Warehouse Architects. This has not changed very much from when you saw it previously. The main focus here is the renovation of the skylight system portion of the outside dining area that used to open. It's all made of aluminum and glass. The client would like to replace it completely. It's leaking. It's not very energy efficient. As you saw in the write-up in the submission, it's very hard to keep it comfortable for people to use the space. So what we're proposing for that portion of it is to completely demolish the aluminum system and the glazing that comes with it, leave the short, about 4-foot high brick wall that is in place, and rebuild on top of it. The main change from our previous submission was we originally had 2 large glass overhead doors that would open up out to the street. In working with the client and trying to kind of keep that same aesthetic that they have now, where it feels very open, you get a lot of light in there, we've worked with them to change from the glass overhead doors to a storefront system, as you can see on the elevations throughout our package. We are using a different metal panel than we originally had come to you all with. We are looking at this certain panel here, just a simple 6-inch reveal. Our intention is to use a silver, so we're trying to kind of put back the same colors that are there. It's all anodized aluminum. We use anodized aluminum storefront system. So we still have that silver element along the street that we have currently. Obviously this is brown, but you guys get an idea of kind of what that profile looks like. And then that silver. Sorry, the photos in the package weren't the greatest. We couldn't get very good close-up photos from the manufacturer. The other portion of this that is an add from the original is the replacement of the material on the awning. So currently they're a fabric and they're black and pretty faded. You'll see in the back page 11, I do not have a sample of that roofing, I apologize. It's a pretty standard black corrugated metal. You've all seen that everywhere. They just want to replace that existing canopy structure with that black metal roofing. A little more durable, a little more long lasting. In my opinion, pretty straightforward. You guys have any questions?
This is just a structured, enclosed, sealed version of kind of
what's there.
What's there now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when we priced out with manufacturers to put a similar skylight system in there, the cost is pretty astronomical. Unfortunately, that was the original plan, is to put something back in kind because of the amount of light you can get in there. So this is kind of where we ended up.
So if I'm understanding this, the net visual effect to a passerby is going to be fairly negligible.
Yeah, it is not, you can see from the existing photo, there is a little bit more glass that you're gonna see from, the street. However, I think with us moving away from the overhead doors and going to that storefront system to kind of provide more of a glazing wall on that street side, puts us closer in kind with what's there now. You will see a little bit more silver than you see now. If you look on page, I think it's 3. Sorry, page 7. And page 6, where you can see the existing photos.
Yeah.
On the eastern side, there's obviously some glass that will not be there because that'll be wrapped in panel. But for the most part, the northern facade will be mostly glass.
I think it's a pretty significant change, but it was a modern element anyhow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's the entire building complex is contemporary, non-contributing, so I think it's fine.
But you don't have to have them.
Are you gonna put up a neon rose?
Anyway,
A neon rose.
You want
we
to look at
can.
these?
That's a shot at my fellow board members.
Not that I'm aware of, at least on the exterior. I can't speak for the interior.
You don't have to rile them up.
That's next meeting.
Okay. Anything's better than that ugly carved rose out front.
Yeah.
We have a snack here, or you're gonna wait.
I
Make a motion that we accept the proposal presented.
I would second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I did not hear what we're
I call for a
voting on.
vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
It's unanimous.
We're gonna have to wait.
Cool.
You can have this. I have chocolate. Do you want chocolate?
Who seconded, guys?
I did.
Steve did.
I did.
Which one do you want? No, I have one. This one. Okay. There you go. You're welcome.
Okay, 401 West Market Street. Want to describe in detail your plan?
Were any of you given the photos that were taken?
Yes.
So as you can see, the exterior front of this building, all in relationship to the casings and the dental work around the existing windows is in really, really bad shape. One of the photos that I took, you can clearly tell that at some point there was some other repairs done by somebody. And believe it or not, on the face of it, they've got OSB. For the life of me, I don't really understand that. But you'll also see that there's some intricate dental work that's gonna need to be replaced as well, that's rotted, which is gonna require some mill work. But my plan is to try to put it back into original condition. I don't know how involved it's gonna be until I actually have a permit to start this job, start ripping away at it. But what I can tell you is the face of it, I'm gonna do my absolute best to make sure that it's back into the kind of condition that it should be in. Unfortunately, I don't have original photos, so I don't know what it looked like originally. I only know what it should look like according to the pieces that are still in place. And there's not a lot of it that's the intricate part of stuff is not really there. I do have, as you'll see in the one photo, it's pretty intricate. That particular one may not need to be replaced, but there are others that will be on all 4 of the bay windows.
The underside, that kind of curved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then any suggestions, I used to have somebody that did a bunch of real good intricate mill work for me. locally, but he died. And we're pretty good at fabricating. I got a really nice shop in back of my office down in the 1400 block of East Market Street. But if anybody has any suggestions about who I could contact to do some millwork for me, I'm open to suggestions.
Any thoughts on his question about?
I keep saying we should keep a list of people who have done work that we approve of here so that, because we can't, as a board, recommend someone.
Right.
But I've said for as long as I've been on the board, we should have a list of these people have come before us and been approved to do work so that other people can then search it.
And we had a consultant
City
that used
employee.
to keep that information, would have it handy.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm a pretty good fabricator. I've done this kind of thing for 40 years of my life, so
Is like Wickstrom still in business?
it's going to take me a lot more time than it would somebody that's set up to do this kind of work. And that's why I asked if somebody had some suggestion.
Hold your guns.
Yeah.
The one time I went there, he was like hanging out.
Okay.
He said keeping an eye on his
Just
machines.
one guy I thought of. He sold all his equipment to Old York Homes, so that's one that's still around.
Right.
So they could possibly do it, yeah, do the mill work.
Do we have concerns with the use of pine wood? I know we've brought that up in the
Yeah,
past.
I think it would be preferable if you used, because my thought is the pine wood's gonna wind up back, especially with new growth lumber and you don't have lead paint and that kind of thing, it's gonna wind up pretty quickly back in a deteriorated condition. I mean, if you can use composite materials, we'll approve those.
Oh, I
lot of
was
times
under
we,
the
you know, like-
impression that that was not allowed.
No,
Generally, it's we avoid
Composites.
Yeah, we avoid vinyls primarily.
yeah, but like ASIC, that kind of thing that you can, you know.
Oh, wow,
mill.
okay, well, then that's what I'll use.
Yeah.
That can be milled just like lumber, so.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'll
yeah,
last, you know,
I was just under the impression that it wasn't allowed.
no, you can't wrap with vinyl. And I think there was, I guess it was a previous owner of this building. I guess it's probably not the current owner you're working for, but,
No, he just bought it.
okay, it was 10 years ago or so, wanted to like, obviously they didn't kind of know what they were doing and they wanted to they either wanted to tear the bay windows off or wrap them or something like that. I remember
It was
that.
something wild.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
was something pretty controversial in there. It was obvious the guy didn't really know what he was doing, and then of course he didn't
Yeah.
contain anything anyway.
He doesn't have any desire to tear it apart or
Yeah.
try to wrap it in metal or do no crazy stuff like that. He's more interested in just making it right, you know,
Yeah.
which nowadays is tough to find.
Yeah.
So,
Had you checked down at the Historical Society to see if they had any photos?
I have not.
Might be a resource.
And nothing nearby?
I'm sorry.
Nothing nearby?
You know, 401, if you know the property,
It's unique.
it is, in contrast to the other properties that surround it. So it's not one of those things that you can look at and say, well, the house beside it or the house 4 doors down has a real good, you know, style that's similar. It's really not that. It's not like that at all.
Yeah. Oh, it's this underneath the bay windows. It had this fluted ovalo curve, big ovalo or curved molding.
Mark, I feel like I've seen these flutes elsewhere in
Yeah, there are other bay windows with them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find something else that I can go off of. That's a great idea, though, Historical Society. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, and you just really have to find somebody that can mill that stuff for you.
Yeah.
They're around.
That's our
It's just
intention,
that, you know.
to put it back into the kind of condition that it was from original. We have
Right,
no desire to, you know, to try to scab this thing together.
right.
I wouldn't even be taking the job if that was what he was trying to do. It's one of the reasons I got out of the property management business.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically all in-kind replacement as close as can be replicated. So I'll make a motion, we approve the application as submitted
I'll second that.
I'm not done yet.
Sorry.
I knew there was more coming.
Well, you're better than I am.
With the exception that we will prefer the use of composite materials such as AZIC in lieu of painted pine. I mean, obviously things like hardwood, like mahoganies and stuff like that would last longer.
Agreed.
Spanish cedar, you could use those. Pine is probably not going to last you. And that the missing features be replicated as close as possible in kind, replaced in kind. Okay, now you can second.
I second.
I've got to figure out a way to attach this to the permit so that when my guy's going out to do inspections, he can look at that for us.
Could a place like Beck and Ness up in Amicksville make this stuff for you? Did you talk to them? I'm trying to search my memory as to who does this stuff. They're up in Amicksville. Talk to Beck and Ness. That's another one that just came to mind. There are other ones out there too.
I have heard of them.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
check
it's
with
been
them. I'll check
moved.
with them.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not,
I have one other question.
Oh,
Paint. It's all painted white now. Is that okay?
we don't get into colors.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't pick paint colors. We pick permanent colors, like roofing and siding and that stuff that has a permanent color on it. But paint, the theory is that you can be repainted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
We've
sure.
never selected
Because we
paint
were
color.
planning on painting it white, and I didn't
So
want
you
to paint
can
it.
paint it white. You can paint it a 1980s color scheme like Dutch Kitchen across the street. You can.
You don't have to give them ideas.
I wouldn't recommend that. It's a little dated.
Yeah, we always prefer historically or period correct colors
Yeah,
if possible, but yeah.
And who knows what it was? I mean,
Oh, right.
it probably was brown. With cream colored sash or something like that. Red sash.
But white is all right.
Yeah.
White is a lovely
Never
neutral.
go wrong.
Right.
Okay, back to vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
And, and Miss, or Mrs.
Yeah, I provide comic entertainment here. Sometimes I have both of them. Sometimes tonight I only have one. If you sit there, they're gonna make you present, buddy.
Willing to bet there are pictures of that somewhere.
Okay, 382 West Market.
Please be careful, William.
Good evening. I'm Blandon Ace. I'm the Secretary and Executive Director of the Redevelopment Authority. I'm thrilled to be here for Penn Market. Stephanie Schaefer has joined me. She is the lead architect from Buchert Horn, and she can answer more specific questions that I can't, and I won't pretend to. But this is essentially, we are doing a complete rehabilitation of Penn Market, probably about a $5 million total renovation. Interior, all new mechanicals, all new systems, all new electric, all new water, sewer, gas, new vendor stands, new locations. Interior, we're also currently adding a community room, like a demonstration kitchen. That's an alternate in our bid because we're over budget as we stand right now.
When has that ever stopped you?
I'm always over budget with everything that I do. Although I had a really good idea today of some potential funding, so we're getting closer. But it's essentially replacement of the windows or restoration of the windows. Obviously, there's a large circular window at the top, and some of the specialty windows, it'll be rehab. Some miscellaneous brick repointing to be determined on actual volume and locations once we get out there and field check the actual conditions. and then the replacement of the doors and windows. The windows are the same style that we used recently at Rex Laurel, which turned out phenomenally. Despite the delays and the scratches that the installers accidentally did, but and Stephanie can talk about anything else.
Belinda, where are you putting the ramp? I saw in the application an ADA compliant ramp.
It's on the parking lot side to provide access from the parking lot as a ramp up into the central portion of the market. The community room is actually east center of the market, east side center, and the idea is to leave that first set of doors open that can be open for the community room after hours. So market is not locked into simply vendor hours. We've created a vestibule and airlock so that the market house itself can be locked down, and that the community room has access from the parking lot. And then that will also allow people to travel north towards Market Street, where we're moving a restaurant, instead of in the back corner of Market where it is now. Right now it's in the southeast rear corner of Market. We were taking that restaurant and bringing it up on the street, on Market Street, so that there's access to the market, community room and restaurant from the parking lot with the 88 ramp at any hour.
There's the elevation with it. And the sheet number's cut off on my set, so I don't know what sheet number it is, but you can see it. It's pretty intrusive, and it's on the parking lot way on the back of the east.
I was just trying to like orient myself on this. That's, you know, and I assume that the ramp is phase 1. I did find a page that had like 5 phases on it.
Yeah, and a lot of the phasing is based on trying to keep market open as much as we can for vendors, rather than shutting down. If we can do one part, shift the vendors, do another part, shift them back, it's going to be chaos for a little bit.
It's also, what's in there is an idea that, you know, the contractor probably has better ideas than the architect does on how to put things together, so.
I don't have more, baby. You ate it all. You ate your sister's.
How many BTU air conditioning are you putting in?
Sorry?
Air conditioning. That's a running joke.
Okay.
He's gotten beaten up about that.
You give me $1 million, I will air condition.
Up $1 million.
So you're doing all this and you don't have money to air condition it?
Yeah.
It's about $680,000 there.
Yeah.
But we're going big fans. We're going makeup air, and so it's right now a lot of those are in there without makeup air. So we are adding air circulation improvements. We're taking next week, hopefully, we're taking the mini split units that are supposed to be outside away from the inside of the building that's inside. So we're literally exhausting hot heat into the market right now, which is.
As opposed to cold heat?
Yes.
So like, is the community room gonna be air conditioned? Or no?
That's not what I make right now too. We're looking at, I think we did plan to put a mini split in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want people to use it, yeah. But otherwise, it's the authentic market experience.
Right, absolutely, yes.
This time of year.
That's exactly it.
Can't argue that.
No.
Yeah, our vendors are real heroes, especially the last couple of days.
Oh my gosh.
It's 160 degrees in there. It's rough. We almost shut down.
Question on my end. Can you explain a little bit of the background on the signage? Is that coming from any historic sort of pole at all, or?
So the signage that exists right now is on the on the Market Street side, and we're just gonna touch up the paint on that and try to seal it and preserve it as it is.
Okay.
We are planning a new sign,
Right.
stand-off letter sign.
E18.
That says Penn Market.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
That is new, it's not illuminated, it's illuminated by light fixtures over it, but it's not a neon sign like you guys were talking about earlier.
Okay.
So, it's a, you know, an idea to bring attention to signify what the main entrance door is.
Yeah.
The 5 doors.
I love it. It makes sense. I was curious if there was any historic background to the to the font or the placement or anything like that.
It should be a serif font.
Okay.
It looks like pictures.
Nice to see this done.
The doors,
Yes,
all of them.
yes. Except the ones we don't need anymore, and then we're gonna remove them and block them up. There is one on the back where Brandon was talking about where the existing restaurant is. It's gonna be part of the storeroom in the new floor plan, so we're just going to break that up. Also on Mason Alley, there are a few old, assumed door openings that has plywood in the opening. So we're gonna take that out and break that also. And recess it so that somebody can read, that it'll still be
Okay,
as a door.
that was my
Great.
question,
Okay.
so it'll be done properly, it'll
Yes,
look like a,
yes.
okay,
Awesome.
okay, yeah.
Well, when I first read the aluminum clad wood doors, I just think of those doors being abused. Vendors using their carts to bang into
Push them open, yeah.
You could say a wood door not clad in aluminum would also be banged up,
There's a response.
but
Oh, look.
Touch it up with paint. That's pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah. Sample.
So the outside face is the aluminum clad.
Right.
then,
Yeah.
The outside face is the aluminum clad, maybe it helps if you see the top there.
Yeah, it's heavy duty.
Yeah.
okay.
And those
Yeah,
are,
it's not a thin roll form clad, that's an extruded clad, so it'll be a little more durable, yeah. What manufactures that?
it's Marvin.
So that is
Windows.
okay.
Yeah, so, and those are also, we did use.
So there's
that's the
nothing
door.
Yeah,
inexpensive.
you use Marvin over at,
Nothing
Rex Laurel, yeah.
Or big box is an expensive big box.
Yeah, the roll form cladding is very thin, and, but the extruded cladding is much more durable.
Well, that was my concern.
It's almost an aluminum door with a wood backup. The core. Those windows, yeah, wood core. The windows are like, the extruded clad windows are like that too.
I'm just curious if you'd given consideration to using the existing ramp and converting that to your 88 ramp.
I believe the slope is way too steep for that, and it's not wide enough either. And it's sort of in the wrong location in the building, because it's in the rear. So we need it to be more centralized so that we can have the building function as it was designed with the community room. So the ramp becomes an entrance to the community room. It becomes an entrance to the restaurant. It's a second entrance.
That existing one is, it's a tough ascension.
We're almost parking lot. It's not
Yes.
going to be obtrusive at all. Yeah.
I don't object to it, I just questioned it.
Okay.
Consideration.
The brick on every facade is being repointed as well. That's to my understanding.
The worst part of the brick is the market, the little corner market that's on the
Penn Street.
Yeah.
street side.
Yeah.
of back
Yes,
in
that
the
was it
alley.
by the,
Right.
And literally, you can touch that and the brick falls apart.
All right.
So we have partially brick restoration and the mortar repointing.
Okay.
We're trying to quantify that, and we're also gonna have a unit price in the project, so that when we discover more, which we will, we can adjust that.
Good. And all highline mortar, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is that ring on the wall still there on the alley side for tying buggies to?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to go look.
Okay.
If it's still there, would you like us to keep it?
I haven't looked recently.
Okay.
No, he wants it.
On the alley side, you said?
Yeah.
Off those original entrances.
You think it was a buggy tying ring?
Yeah.
That is there, I like it.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely.
That's where Dennis used to tie his wife pretty much up.
You're not leaving yet.
All right.
I'd make a motion that we approve as submitted.
Second. This is good. This is very nice.
This is very exciting.
Yeah.
Schurmeyer seconded it.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If none, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank you guys.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you. Want to get that budget in order?
Dude, this one turns out half as nice as the firehouse. You'll have two great projects.
This is why you're all here. We're trying to organize, all's kind of in the court of Chief Sleeger. We're trying to organize an open house walkthrough of the firehouse.
Oh, great.
We want to celebrate everything that's going on in there.
Are Greg or Vincent giving tours?
We will certainly invite the whole board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
Technically, no.
Okay.
By Robert's rules.
But I want him to call for adjournment.
Adjourned?
The chair just calls for drink. You don't have any comments?
I second that.